Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2019 general reading. This is for the first half of November, so from the 1st through the 15th roughly. And this reading is for the Earth sign of Virgo for the first half of November. Welcome everyone, welcome to newcomers and first timers, and welcome back to followers and subscribers. Thanks as always for all your support, feedback, comments, likes, shares, and subscribes. I don't know if my background has changed since the last set of generals I put out a couple of weeks ago. I'd have to look to see. I've been doing so much traveling lately. I just came back from exploring for a couple of weeks in North Africa and Tunisia. I am back in Poland, back in Eastern Europe, where the weather is turning very cold, and back in my as of yet unfinished apartment. And so there's nothing but a bare wall on my funny face here. I'll be here for a couple more weeks till I go back to the States for a little while. Okay, and you know, one of the challenges of traveling a lot is I'm never really fully in control of what my background and lighting is going to be like, but I'm quite committed to always getting my generals out on time, so I try and work with what I have, and this is what we have today. So hopefully that won't detract. All right, let's get right into this. This reading is for Virgo for the first half of November. Make sure to check your rising sign, moon sign, Venus sign if you know them, and if you can always provide helpful additional clarification, or it might resonate a little more predictably for you. This video, though, is also for those of you who may be cross-watching for a Virgo. And as many of you know, if any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading, live or recorded, you can click on the description link below for more information and contact details. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be absolutely delighted to work with you. I do a wide variety of readings of all different types and lengths in all the main areas of life. And it's all that I do. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. It's the sum total of everything that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with everyone's schedules, yours and mine, to get readings out in as timely a fashion as possible. So send me an email if you're interested, and I'd be happy to set something up for you. All right, let's get into this. Libra, the first half of November for our lovely Librans. Libra. I am using the Gilded Tarot by artist Ciro Marchetti, one of my favorite. I love the rich colors. Okay, Libra. We begin with the King of Pentacles, followed by the Tower, I hope I just didn't say Libra. This is for Virgo. The reason I was thinking that is because Libra had something a little similar also with the King of Pentacles. Okay, we also have the Moon, followed by the Three of Pentacles. And from the bottom of the deck, overall focus and energy for the first half of November is the Ten of Wands. So the overall energy for the first half of November is the Ten of Wands. Now, in the tarot, tens often represent something cycling to a close or cycling down to an end. With the Ten of Wands, this is a burden. And I always feel like the Ten of Wands is a long-standing burden, meaning that I don't think this is some recent affair. I feel like some time ago you picked up a wand, maybe 2, and gradually it became 3 and 4 and 7 and 8, and now it's 10. And this is a burden so heavy that you can't stand up straight under it. You're managing to function to do whatever it is carrying these wands require you to do. You're not dropping them, or if you are, you're successfully picking them up and moving on, but it's heavy. I mean, you can see that this man can't even stand up straight. But We're at the 10 here. So this is coming to a close or needs to come to a close. His head is up. He is looking at the destination right here where he can lay these burdens down, or she, and stand up, take a deep breath, and be free from it. The 10 of Wands often shows up when someone's feeling tired, overwhelmed with too many different things. Perhaps there's too many different things going on. Perhaps you've started off with some responsibilities or some things and just gradually become more and more over time. And it looks like, now this is a general reading, there's many of you watching, which is why we always advise watching your other signs if you know them, to kind of get more pieces of the picture. So for some of you, this might be you feeling this way. Hey, I've got too much to do, this is too heavy, I've been doing this for too long, fill in the blank. The details and specifics in a general reading are always going to vary amongst you, those of you watching it, but the energy fundamentally remains the same. So this could be you feeling, you know, I need to be done with this. Alternately, it could also be someone else who's coming to you and saying, hey, I feel this way. For many of you, it's going to be you, because this is your primary focus and energy. But for some of you, it might be somebody else coming to you and saying, hey, I can't do this anymore. For those of you who are in a position of seniority or management or something, perhaps at work or, you know, in some other similar situation, it could be somebody coming to you and saying, you know, I've got too much to do. I need to, you know, I'm too overwhelmed. I'm too tired. This has been going on too long. I need you to talk to so-and-so because I need to get this burden distributed, or I need it to just be alleviated. So it looks like there is some kind of perhaps argument or falling out or big explosion between you and someone else. Again, alternately, particularly if this is a work situation or some project, it could be this other person and this King of Pentacles. Because the King of Pentacles and the Tower, this is what's coming out for around the first week of November. The King of Pentacles, Pentacles is earth sign. That's the element which governs this suit. And the suit of Pentacles is often about the physical structure of our life, the stability and security of the physical structure of our life. And so in the tarot, Pentacles often points to things in our life that give us stability and security in the actual physical structure of our life, or the efforts we put into attaining those things. So in the tarot, Pentacles can often reference money, property, assets, resources, finance, job, home, property, etc. Those things that make us feel safe and stable and secure and comfortable and okay. Kings and queens, of course, represent individuals who they're at the top of their game. They've mastered their suit. So they've grown and matured beyond that young, idealistic, dreamer energy of the page, that spontaneous, impulsive, let's throw it all together kind of energy of the knights. And kings and queens represent, at least on their good days, ideally in the upright position, people who have reached a point of self-control, self-mastery, discipline over the character traits inherent to their suit. And here we have the King of Pentacles, so the King of Earth. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Showing up as a king, but it's a general reading, so it could be a female. This is somebody who is probably financially comfortable, if not well off. They're very good at those inherent details of the day-to-day life, finance, money, managing things, everything in that concrete, structured world. They like comfortable things. They like a comfortable life, good things around them. They've worked hard to get them, and they believe, ideally, that everybody else deserves the same opportunity. In terms of friends and mates and lovers and husbands, they tend to be pretty generous, pretty loyal, pretty sincere. Their challenges are they can be pretty stubborn, pretty dug in, pretty obstinate. You know, I mean, if it's a Taurus, the sign is the bull, and they can be quite, you know, well, you know, horns and hooves, very dug in and stubborn. But definitely is somebody you want on your side, fighting with you. Not fighting with you, but fighting for you, with you. You know what I mean. So somebody at the top of their game, likely in the financial and material world. So clarifying the King of Pentacles is the Tower. Now, for some of you, this King of Pentacles might represent, for you, energetically, previous instability, like being in a good place financially and materially, maybe working and struggling hard for that. And here is this event that happens, although I think that scenario is probably for only a few of you. So clarifying the King of Pentacles is the Tower. First and foremost, I feel like it's some kind of argument, falling out, explosion, division, breakup, separation, or something with somebody who is manifesting very much like the King of Pentacles. So the Tower usually represents a big shakeup, an unexpected, unforeseen, because it's represented by a bolt of lightning, which we can't predict, coming out of nowhere and striking this tower, which this man thought was solid, stable, reliable, was going to be in place for a while, and breaking it down or shaking it right to its core. Totally unexpected, and you can see this because the man is falling out of his home, which he thought was built out of bricks. He thought it was stable. He's completely naked, which implies the unexpectedness of it, the suddenness of it, and the vulnerability during this event. So it usually represents an event that comes in unforeseen and shakes everything up down to its core. Typically external things, but of course it can affect our belief system as well. I know a lot of people clench up when they see this because often the artwork in tarot decks is quite, I mean, look at this, it looks kind of scary. Sometimes this can be, towards the positive in that moment too, like winning the lottery or something like that. It's always divine timing and orchestration, even if it feels very traumatic, painful, challenging at the time. It's God's spirit, your angels and guides, either bringing events together to make this happen or allowing it to happen, because whatever is being broken down, believe it or not, is inherently flawed and can't continue. So it needs to be broken down so it can either be transformed and rebuilt stronger, or something else can be rebuilt in its place. So it's always divine timing and orchestration. It just kind of depends on what our perspective is at the time. Sometimes we need time and distance away from these events to kind of look back and go, I kind of get it now. So I feel like for many of you, there's been this tower moment, this tower card event happening with this King of Pentacles, about this King of Pentacles perhaps. Again, the details and specifics will vary in a general reading, but the energy fundamentally remains the same. And because of this feeling of being overburdened and overwhelmed, it could be that you just snapped, or somebody close to you did. I don't mean like get a gun and go shoot people snapped. I actually don't mean to say that trivially because of everything that happens around those kind of things. But when I say snapped, I mean like, just like said, hey, I can't do this anymore, or if this doesn't happen, I'm going to quit, or, if it's a job situation, or, I mean, this could even be in a personal love romance relationship or marriage where you're like, I feel like this burden is uneven. I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm carrying the weight and the burden, the responsibility for this relationship, and I'm getting very little support, help, or co-shouldering this burden on my own. And it's just too much, and this needs to come to an end. Basically, that's what I feel like happened. Of course, the details will vary per person. So there's this blow up explosion tower card moment that happens. And then we have the Moon and the Three of Pentacles. Now, the Moon is an interesting card. It can be quite tricky to interpret, which is why cards are never stand alone unless you pull just one card. You kind of have to look at what's going on, what Spirit is kind of giving you. The Moon is a tricky card anyway because the Moon itself is kind of tricky. She is a tricky thing. Beautiful, deeply spiritual, stirs up our subconscious fears, compulsions, desires, anxieties. The Moon sheds light just like the sun sheds light. But under the light of the sun, it's very bright, full. There's complete illumination and clarity. There's no hidden things or shadows because the sun shines brightly. When the Moon comes out and shines, it's a shadowy kind of light. There's a lot of, she can shine bright or she can shine, depending on where you are in the cycle of the moons. There's a lot of shadowy corners and hidden recesses, which can also represent hidden or subconscious fears coming up. It can represent unrealistic fears or fears that aren't entirely reality-based. Meaning, my example for that is you have this gnarly old tree in the far end of your backyard, and out in broad daylight you go outside and you're like, there's that cool gnarly looking old tree. But when you go out at night on a dark night and the moon is shining but there's shadows all over, that gnarly old tree can look like a monster or a bear or something like that. So the moon can sometimes touch on our deep subconscious fears and kind of exacerbate them unrealistically to where we can look at something and think that it might be something else, like a fight might be the end of something forever and ever, and it might be, but we don't know that. It might just, the moon can sometimes play on our fears. It represents, because it's not entirely clear, it can represent uncertainty, confusion, and cloudiness. I'm not really sure what's going on here, and I have a lot of fears around this. Now, why is the moon here? Well, what clarifies the moon is the Three of Pentacles. This is a card of teamwork, of working together, a we card, not a me card. The Three of Pentacles is about working together to achieve a common cause or common goal. Even if you don't like each other, you kind of agree that something has to be accomplished, and in order to do that, everybody kind of has to come to the table, compromise, negotiate what's most important. Everybody brings their own ideas, opinions, skills, expertise, etc., to agree on how to accomplish something. In many tarot decks, this card is actually shown with other people. It's about taking pride in what you build with other people as well. But it's a card of working together, which of course always represents compromise and negotiation, meaning you have to agree on what's the most important central thing, and everything else around that you can kind of compromise, negotiate, give a little, take a little. So it's unclear. So it looks, to put it simply, like there's some kind of major conflict falling out that happened with the King of Pentacles. Somewhere in the root of it is someone feeling like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. I need some help. I need this lifted. I need this to end. And there's this big thing that happens because of it. It feels unclear, particularly around the second week and after this happens. Of course, it's a general reading, so some of you this may already be going on. Some of you it may still be yet to happen. It's unclear as to whether or not you can work this out. You know, we have the moon and the Three of Pentacles. I don't know. I don't know if we can still work together to get this done, to accomplish this, to keep going. That's what's kind of coming out for the first half of November. So let's pull some advice and guidance cards and see what Spirit has to say about how best to navigate through this situation for the first half of November, because we're looking at a relatively short period of time here for now. Oh. Okay. What is the best thing for Virgo to do? I hope I just didn't say Libra. I have it Libra kind of in the back of my head because Libra also had a situation with the King of Pentacles as well. So you may want to watch that video. So your advice from Spirit, this is very clear. Your advice from Spirit is the Hanging Man, clarified by the Page of Cups in the reverse. So very clear. So the Hanging Man is about stepping back. That's what the Hanging Man does. And his very position implies it's not easy. There's a certain amount of discomfort. Not huge, but a mild to moderate amount of discomfort because he's hanging upside down in what appears to be an uncomfortable or awkward position. Why is he doing this? Well, he's doing this in order to kind of watch how things play out, see what happens. He has this feeling that he doesn't know everything. Things are still playing out, and he's waiting and watching things playing out. Even if he wants to get involved and wants to jump back in there and do something, he's not doing it for the time being. This is a small present sacrifice which will lead to greater gains further on, because he doesn't know everything. Things are still playing out, and also in this position he's seeing things from a different angle because he's withdrawing, which always gives you perspective to see different aspects of a situation, which you can't see when you're right in the middle of it. So he's gaining a different perspective too as he's watching things play out, getting more information, maybe more understanding, a different perspective of the situation. This is always a temporary transitional card, which implies that whatever this is, the contact, regardless of the outcome, the contact is not done yet, but your advice is to withdraw for a time. Sometimes, if this is about other people fighting, sometimes, occasionally, this card means, you know, just withdrawing and letting people, give them enough rope to do whatever it is they're going to do with it. And the Page of Cups in reverse simply says no communication during this time. Because pages relay messages, they deliver communication. It's the beginnings, the reaching out, how you doing, what's going on, how you feeling kind of thing. So in the reverse, I mean, it's a very clear thing. Withdraw, take a step back for just a little while. Things are playing out, and no communication unless you absolutely have to. Definitely you not being the one to reach out, which may, because the Tower, this is a pretty significant event. So I think things need to die down, let the dust settle a little bit. And we'll see if this actually resurfaces during the mid-month readings too. So So Virgo, that pretty much wraps up your reading for the first 2 weeks of November. I hope you found it helpful and useful. Again, if this video resonated with you, or if any of the videos do, and you'd like to schedule a more personal one-on-one reading, you can click on the description link below for more info and contact details. You can also email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. Until then, as always, I wish you much joy, love, peace, strength, and wisdom. And I hope to see you again here soon. Take care. Bye-bye.